All right, Zach, you're good. So I guess
we're good.
Dave, thanks for allowing us the time. My name's Justin Masson, and on the line with us as well is Zach Erickson, and we are both part of the Nintendo Dads podcast. And we just kind of wanted to ask some questions about Runbow.
Sure.
We've both we have a copy of it, and we actually got a review copy of it, and we've been loving it and playing it. And I think it is such a unique and interesting game in the eShop that we wanted to spend some time with you guys and just talking about the experience and your thoughts on the game as well.
Okay, awesome.
Perfect. So one of the questions I kind of want to start off with is Runbow has such a unique a look with color style and art style. Do you mind just kind of asking what was the inspiration for that, or how did the art direction team come to that idea? It has very like a 60s kind of look to it.
Yeah, I mean that's you kind of hit it on the head. I think it's probably best if if our art director Aaron answers that question. But you are right. That is where our inspiration came from.
Yeah, the initial inspiration was exactly that, 1960s movie posters. We kind of looked at Saul Bass, if you know who he is. Mm-hmm. He's a prominent 60s graphic designer.
And the Czechoslovakian New Wave posters. And then also like cartoons.
Yeah, cartoons. It kind of evolved from there. We started there, and it evolved to the cartoon stylings of the Pink Panther, which also from the 60s. Right, the kind of the illustration style and the backdrop design was kind of influenced from that as well. And it just kind of took on its own unique shape. Didn't want to lift or copy exactly something. We just kind of made it our own from there.
That's fantastic. And where, I mean, the use of the color, right? The how important color is throughout the gameplay. Like, where did that concept come from? Because that's a very unique concept that I don't think we've really seen in games used before. So where did that come from?
Well, a long time ago in a galaxy far, far away.
It was something we'd never seen before. I mean, we were at a game jam, and that's where we started building Runbow. And like at game jams, you're supposed to do stuff. You're not supposed to do anything, but you can do things that you've never seen before. You can experiment. You can try new things. And I mentioned this idea for a color mechanic, and it's something that we all thought was a cool idea, and it became like the heart and soul of our game. So, basically, like what if when you couldn't see something, it wasn't actually there?
Mm-hmm. And that mechanic then, in turn, actually influenced the art style, because it's one of the reasons why we ended up going with the Saul Bass, because we had to stay with the flat colors so that players could properly differentiate with what was what.
Yeah, we couldn't have backgrounds or anything, or else it would look like you could stand on platforms that weren't actually there.
Right. Yeah. I love the whole idea that as soon as you, like, from the first trailer you ever see, as soon as you see that color switch and the guy fall through the platform, you're like, oh, I get it. This is brilliant, right? Like, this is something that very quickly is so intuitive to pick up. That's one of my favorite things about that game, is that you just hand somebody a controller, again, because it's up to 9 people, right? You're like, here you go, and then very quickly you know exactly what's going on, and you're just navigating that.
That's good that happened to you, because I've watched people play it and not understand what's going on, so thank you.
Yeah, for sure.
Put them in our adventure mode, in like level 1, in waiting for a change, they're stuck with this wall, and they notice these colors sort of switching, and I watched so many people like hit the light bulb moment, and it's so great. It's so great to see.
Mm-hmm, for sure.
The other part I hate is actually just waiting for that color you're looking for. Yeah, like, come on.
Or the switch is there, and the platform is like, I really need to time this jump, but I know this switch is coming. Oh man, you know what I mean? Stuff like that. Yeah, for sure.
I think our level designers, it's like an issue we ran into fairly early on, and our level designers put a lot of effort into ensuring that it didn't come up anymore, was ensuring that there's never a circumstance where you need a certain color. Like, it's usually there's somewhere you can go, there's some other way around that you can go, but you're never stuck there just saying like, all right, let's see if we can get a purple sometime before the camera overtakes me.
Yeah, if you put the right path, or if you pick the wrong path, that's on you. That's kind of how we worked on things.
And you kind of got to, like, on the fly, as a color's switched, you've got to change your strategy, and you've got to go a different direction now because the colors are going to be different. And I mean,
it's not a game that you can like phone in your perception for.
Yeah, totally.
I feel your pain when you're racing, because I've done that too, where I might be in the lead and like, come on, blue, and blue doesn't show up, and I get screwed over at the end. I was like, But then again, that's my fault for not planning ahead of time.
Someone online said this, and I'm really proud of this review. So yeah, this is sort of a humble brag, and I'll say it. But someone said that it's as much fun to lose this game as it is to win, and I think stuff like the color choices, like stuff where it's your fault and it's fair. I think that's what makes Runbow so endearing to people.
That was a child actually who said that.
Yes, a child said that.
It's okay to die. That's fun too.
That's funny.
A babe, a wee babe
from the mouth of babes, that's awesome. Yes. So obviously there's a great aspect of this game that I think has brought you guys a lot of attention as well, and that's all of the indie character roster. What was the initial sort of story behind bringing in all of these other characters, and how did that idea first get raised behind the scenes there?
I mean, for me, I came into games from like this is me, but I played in a lot of punk bands in Toronto, and the scene of how people take care of each other there is something that I really like. Also, the indie community in Toronto is really supportive and really helpful, and that's something that we wanted to see if we could carry over, not just across our country but internationally as well. And let's all just kind of stand together and make a thing. Let's see if these people will back us. And they did, and we haven't let them down. At least it's not as far as I'm concerned.
Well, yeah, it's interesting because this game, I think, has been compared to the sort of Super Smash Brothers model where Nintendo's bringing all their own characters in, but you guys are almost. It's just, what I hear you saying is that you're actually trying to, rally everybody together, because until then it was like, here's an indie over here, here's an indie over here, and you guys are basically going out there and saying, we're all a big happy family. Everybody come in and join us. And what is the sort of family relationship? Is there that sort of camaraderie that you found sort of developing as you brought all those different, those studios in for the game?
There absolutely is, and we ventured in thinking that this is the sort of culture that we want to cultivate when we start our studio, which is what we're doing, and sort of, I hope everybody else feels the same way, and they did.
And we were also very, very fortunate that right around the time we were saying, I was like, it'd be interesting if we can get some of the indies working together, is at basically the exact same time that Nintendo was saying, hey, let's create the term Nindies and make these guys start working together.
Yeah.
So that worked out very nicely for us.
Yeah.
I guess, kind of a follow-up question to that. I mean, does Nintendo, from what we've seen over the last about 9 months, they've had the Nindies at home, they've had the Nindy experience for E3, and they very, and Damon's very seem to put a lot of time and effort into cultivating that indie community. Do they try and put you guys together as much as possible for networking and bringing together kind of under their influence, or is it kind of like, hey, by the way, here's an email address of this guy, have a fun time, or do they try a little bit more connection?
It's actually way more hands-on on their part. We mentioned to them that this is something that we wanted to do, and we gave them sort of a wish list of, I think, 20 or 25 games and characters, and we ended up with 17, so that's pretty damn good. And those that weren't able to join in, it just wasn't the right time for them, for whatever reason, or they didn't get our emails, which is actually something that we're finding out as we meet them in person.
Oh,
yeah, they're like, "What the heck, man?" And then
they're like, "Hey, man, why aren't we in this game?" Like, you said no, but and all will be revealed in the fullness of time. Let me tell you.
Yeah.
But
okay.
We were pretty lucky that we said to Nintendo, this is what we think we want to do. It lines up really well with what they're trying to demonstrate about Nintendo's commitment to indies, and it also lines up to the fact that Nintendo just likes games. It's not about being an indie or not. It's about being a fun game. I remember seeing Sports Ball on the same shelf as Smash Brothers because they're both local multiplayer games. Mm-hmm. And that Sports Ball is a small game. It should, by any on-paper certification, not qualify to be next to Smash Bros. But it is as fun, if not more fun, to play sometimes with a group of friends. So, of course, Nintendo gets that. So they thought, you want people from, you want to bring together some games? All right, let's get some games in here. And that's all they did.
That's amazing. In that list of 25 and then that 17 response, were there responses you got back that you did not expect to get back? Were you shocked by some of the the hand raising of like, yeah, we want in on this? Because I always get the feeling that, and maybe it's that companies are probably very tight on their their IPs and very much want control of it. And I guess were you shocked by the response you got?
Well, I think actually the very first one we got was in fact Shovel Knight, which was a big surprise for us because it's like this is one of the biggest indie games to come out in quite a long time, and basically we just. I think in fact like with Shovel Knight that was before we even did the big outreach, and basically we just said to them, it was like, hey, do you mind if we put Shovel Knight in Runbow? And they're like, yeah, okay, that sounds like fun.
We met them at Indiecade last year, almost coming up on a year of knowing those incredible people, and it was like, hey, so we saw Shovel Knight's making a couple cameos. How do we get in on that action? They're like, we do it case by case, but you guys seem like you're cool. Like, that was it. That was the depth of it. Like, there was a contract at some point. There was a legal conversation, but there was just like, no, we've played your game. That's cool. We trust you.
I feel like this is a conversation probably had over a couple of adult beverages at an establishment.
They were just good to work with. Another one, we separated everything in categories. We separated all of our companies that we can probably get the IP from, companies we probably can't get the IP from, and one of our categories was impenetrable Japanese companies. And then we got Gunvolt, and we were like, oh, well, apparently we can accomplish anything. We just be polite, and that was it. That was just like the rules are so not applicable if you just ask nicely, and remember that everyone making games is trying to have fun.
Yeah, and that's absolutely incredible. Like when a couple weeks before the announce or the actual game dropping, there was that big announcement of like the reveal of everyone, and as the trailer goes through, I was just shocked. I was like, that's amazing that you can get these connections, and I can only imagine it's been brokering of those conversations for years, and because it always feels like the major, I won't use the word major, but like Nintendo and the IPs that they have are so close guarded. Right, and they're so we can't, and I think especially as we looked at, the fighter ballot for Smash that came out saying like, who would you like in Smash Brothers, and you're like, well, these aren't going to happen, and then to see you guys be able to bring in these amazing characters that we love, it's such this kind of I guess hope, that players and IPs and games can play together nicely in a way that fans have always wanted.
Yeah, and those IPs, those huge, like Mega Man, like that, they have to be strict. That affects so many people. Realistically, that IP belongs to so many people, and I mean fans as well, right?
And so they've got to be way more protective of it. Yeah,
because not because you're being a jerk or anything for legal reasons, but because there are people that love that IP and own it. And on a smaller scale, there are fewer people, or you're willing to take more risks. So you can get your Shovel Knight crossovers or your Juans or your Scram Kitty. Like Scram Kitty got a lot of attention after our trailer, which made me really happy because it's a great game.
Totally. Right on. So I guess the question is now, like, what's going on now? You've launched the game. What's the reception been like? How are you feeling post launch and moving forward? Kind of what's next?
And the bigger question is, when can I play it on my 3DS on a bus ride?
Oh, there you go.
Oh. So, I mean, now what's next? I mean, I have to emerge from our giant piles of money to answer that question.
Yeah, I've been hearing that money counter in the background going. Just curious how that's treating you.
Just rolling. It's like Scrooge McDuck's house over here. No, I mean, next for us is we're gonna support Runbow. We're gonna make the language that I used with IP there is not a mistake. We believe that the game belongs to other people now, and we have to do well by them. So we're fixing some major problems that shipped with our day one patch. We're fixing little things here and there that we didn't account for, and because we want people to have the best possible experience. We're working on a Japanese release coming up soon.
Oh, wow.
Working on a really big announcement that I can't tell you yet.
Australian release.
The Australian release is not that, but that is also.
I was like, "Wow, Australia!"
We've got something bigger than the Australian release coming up.
I know.
No way.
I'm the last one to hear about this.
I know. So yeah, we have something really, really cool that hopefully you'll know about before the holiday season.
That's incredible.
And yeah, we are working on some form of DLC and future content. How that looks, we haven't yet clarified. And as for 3DS, we would love that. When I know when that's going to happen, I'll send you a message.
Oh, that'd be awesome. I appreciate private messages that way, and we won't tell anyone, I promise.
That would be really, really cool, because that's what Runbow is all about. It's about basically challenging random strangers to get good.
Yeah. I mean, imagine kind of sitting around, pulling out a 3DS, and you're kind of sitting around in a group of 4 and just challenging each other. In this kind of local environment. That'd be quite interesting, actually.
That would be fantastic. And I would be lying to you if I told you that is not something that we want. Fair
enough. Awesome. You mentioned earlier kind of this idea of, there potentially being DLC in the future. As a developer, is that something that, you think of in the moments you're designing the game? Or is it something that kind of after launch there's this craving for it? I mean, how does,
That is something that you should think about when you're designing your game.
Yeah.
And and sometimes you make the plans for it down the road. We knew always that we wanted to continue things, but given that this is our first studio and our first game, and we for the same reason that we didn't stretch to multiple platforms, we wanted to do this right by one audience. We wanted to do this well, and then focus on how to do the next thing, and do the next thing, and do the next thing. So, that is something that you would usually plan into your cycle, but we've been gifted a little bit of time, and we are putting that together for you guys now. Nice.
You mentioned here the kind of the one platform. Do you mind me asking, what drove you to the Nintendo platform specifically, not, a PS4 or an Xbox?
A couple things. One of the more honest answers is that Nintendo got it right away. We pitched it. We pitched it to a couple platforms, but Nintendo were the first ones that were like, "No, this is fun." And what we sent them, I can promise you, is awful. Like, it's a terrible game. It's garbage. I don't know why I'm even talking to you right now. But no, what happened was they saw the game and saw the potential, and they encouraged it. And we believe that you should support people that support you. So we gave them everything we got. And it belongs on Nintendo. It's a fun, Nintendo's where your local multiplayer party games are, right?
It just fits, right? Yeah,
it just fits the audience.
Yeah, absolutely.
And not to discourage developers to look at Microsoft or Sony or Steam at all, but for that, bring a console out at a party, I'm more likely to bust out my Wii U than I am my ColecoVision.
Although you should be busting that out.
I know. You put the big sticker on the TV and try to guide the box through the mix. Yeah.
Nice.
Right on. Well, Justin, do you have any other questions, or do you guys? Go ahead, Justin.
No, I mean, I was I wanted to talk about the relationship with Nintendo. You guys did that fantastic. I mean, talk about kind of what's in the future, what inspired you, the indies. Yeah, I mean, again, Zach and I and the entire Nintendo Dads crew are really just big fans of the game. We think it's incredible, and it just feels like a love letter to games and to other characters and to other indies as well. And it's absolutely fantastic. It's a must have on the Nintendo platform for sure.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. It's good that you feel that, because we all came from disparate backgrounds to start this company, and we all united over the fact that we love games, right? So it's kind of fitting that the first game that we release is something that is just fun.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I mean, that we think is fun, and I'm glad that other people seem to think as well. We still play the game and enjoy it, let me tell you, after building this thing for 2 years, that says a lot.
Mm-hmm. The fact that you actually still want to go back and play it and don't just want to put it in a box somewhere and just leave it alone. And absolutely.
My Wii U on fire and leave this off forever. Yeah.
What's this interview about? Runbow? No, I don't want to talk about that. Can we talk about anything else?
It's actually still enjoyable, and we're still finding things that, a couple of guys in our office have figured out how to glitch run on a few of our levels, and we're not changing that.
Really? That's great.
If you're good, you can survive on spike balls if you jump off them at the right time.
Oh, wow.
One frame recovery.
That's a failure on our part, but we're not taking that out.
No, don't.
That's kind of part of the
Also, here's one from us to your audience. If you're good, you can taunt and dash at the same time.
Oh, that sounds like the ultimate troll maneuver, is what that sounds like.
So you can like do
Launch
your dash
yourself into the air while chicken dancing and land in the trophy.
is the best thing you can do in this game, as far as I'm concerned. So there's a lot of little things that we're discovering are just kind of like nascent gems in our code that we're like, oh, this is great. I wouldn't change this for anything.
That's awesome.
In fact, we had a bug where you playing online, you accidentally ended up in a giant, unending online game that took you into the behemoth, and it was everything that we could to not keep that in.
That said, we also have a lot of very funny ones that we really did need to take out, like the infinite deaths glitch we discovered.
Yeah.
If you paused just as you entered lava, it would just keep killing you. Every 1,000 times a second. So that when you unpause, you would get 10,000 particle effects appearing at once, and this massive death noise. It was hilarious. And if you did it on Behemoth, your death counter would skyrocket, and
break eventually. It was really cool.
Was there, by chance, a very customized taunt at the very end of that for failing and dying? Which, by the way, I love. Every time I fail, I get a script of how poor I am.
Are you guys in North America? You are, right?
Yeah, we're actually in Canada. I'm in Lethbridge, and Zach is up in Edmonton.
Yep.
Oh, right on. So then you have the version of the game that doesn't show you the positive messages.
No.
So that's being fixed as well. Just wait. Once the patch comes out, you're actually going to get rewarded and complimented for your achievements.
Oh, wow.
As opposed to berated, which is what's happening right now.
Oh, that's so fun.
I kind of like the getting berated, I'm not going to lie.
That's good, because it's the only option that we've given you thus far.
Good.
I thought it was just part of that.
This is kind of demoralizing. You're like, oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, I almost thought it was just like a weird quirk of that character, of like the Skull and Crossbones guy. It's just like, he's just constantly negative. That's just who he is.
He's constantly negative, but when you win a round, it shouldn't tell you yawn or anything.
Like, the job move out.
Yeah, it should say something nice about your character.
Oh, that's funny.
These are the little things that we have to rush to fix because it's not what we meant to ship.
Yeah.
And this is the fun thing about indie development.
That's so
awesome.
That's so funny.
Before we let you go, obviously when you're playing Runbow and finding those bugs, are there any other games that you guys are currently playing right now that you're enjoying, or?
No, I hate all video games.
You hate all video games? That seems right.
I'm actually currently playing through another indie game that just came out called Undertale by Toby Fox, and it is an absolute gem. It's a beautiful game, very, very cool, very difficult to talk about without giving spoilers, but needless to say, it's a very, very creative RPG. It's fantastic. It's on Steam. It's a lot of fun. It's
Spoilers.
Spoilers. It's a lot of fun.
I just finished Life is Strange Episode 1, and I really enjoyed it. Nice. Because I haven't actually played anything story-based in a long time. I've been playing a lot of action games that have kept me going.
And I'm still playing Shovel Knight. I got to practice more often.
Yeah.
Aaron needs to get good at platforms.
Yeah, that's right.
Nice.
But in terms of office dynamics, and I'm opening this to the room, we have started playing sports ball in the office again, and I think we should play it again today.
Oh, we should.
If you guys don't own sports ball, Swift Thornbrook from Sports Ball is in our character roster. It is one of the most fun games to play with up to 4 people.
I think that one I think was part of the. I think was that one of the ones that was part of that Nindy bundle on Humble Bundle. That
yes, it was.
Yeah,
I was like,
supported an extra. Actually, Zach. To be honest, we have a couple codes I think for that extra that we were giving away to our audience.
You should play it. It's so much fun, and if you have another guy on the gamepad.
Have him go to another room
and comment on the whole match because it just serves as a microphone.
And it just shouts out through your speakers.
We have Unai, our technical director, is from the Basque Country, and he'll comment the entire games in Spanish, and it's wonderful.
That's
actually,
awesome.
I think he'll do it in Basque. I should don't tell him that I confuse those two things.
It's basically the thing.
Pretty much.
Basically.
Right on.
Fantastic.
Well, hey, thanks a ton, guys. This has been great.
Thank you. I'm glad that we could finally connect on this.
Absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right on.
And if you guys need anything else in terms of, I don't know, whatever you may need, please just reach out and let me know.
Sounds good.
Sounds great. Thanks, guys, for your time. I know it's about 4:00 your time, so I'm sure it's time for some ball, obviously. So
yeah, pretty much. Time for sports ball.
Nice.
Thank you, guys, and yeah, again, reach out. We really appreciate anyone supporting the game, and keep playing Runbow.
Right on.
That sounds good to us.
All right, guys, talk to you soon.
Thanks.
Talk to you later.
Bye.
Bye.